Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, Bret Hart buries the universe.
WWE gave Karrion Kross 24 hours to sign a new contract and then pulled the offer.
A top free agent is open to going to AEW.
And Tony Khan thinks the stories in AEW are as strong as ever. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
I wish I was as strong as ever. That must be nice. What a wonderful feeling.
You wait till we get to that new office with the gym.
Oh, my goodness.
Even more jacked.
I'm going to get that Bobby Lashley physique, baby.
Yeah, I'm Carl Fletcher.
Let's go. I was going to say, like, Bobby Lashley probably has the most impressive physique ever. Maybe someone like Tomohiro Ishii is more realistic for me. I'd say so.
I'll go for, who's that dweeb back in the... Colin Delaney.
That's they are. I think you're already there, to be fair. But, I mean, if you're Colin Delaney, I'm Bastian Booger. That's how it goes. Anyway, let's talk about Bret Hart. He's just burying everyone right now.
He's on one, isn't he?
Let's summarize this. So we're going to... Obviously, he recently blasted WWE because they invited him to SummerSlam and didn't give him a chair at ringside.
Love the pettiness.
And to be fair, right? If I was phoned up and they said, "Hey, come to ringside," and then you get there and you go, "We don't have a chair," I'd be like, "What?
Did you bring your chair with you?" What?
Camping chair, just pulling up, little £10 Argos number.
Green chair guy, move up a bit. Go on.
It's Bret Hart, for goodness sake. Get rid of these Minute Maid losers. Get the Hitman in there.
Imagine they made him dress in one of those costumes.
Oh, gosh.
The crunchy cereal mascot is Bret Hart.
Imagine his face. He would be so dead inside. Just... He also buried Gunther. He said lazy wrestling, don't do chops bust people up. He said he told Gunther this to his face, and I believe him. Like, it's Bret Hart, he doesn't give a damn. He also said something along the lines of wrestling would be much better if more people just copied me.
Yeah, I remember him saying that.
Which I actually agree with him too. I don't agree with him on Gunther's lazy wrestling, by the way. Put that out there. And now, because it's a day ending in Y, he's just buried Goldberg again. It's really funny. So this is from Vaughn Comic Con, which is where most of these quotes come from, actually. So he's explaining his philosophy on wrestling, and Bret just can't help himself. He said, "My personal feeling about professional wrestling today is that the wrestlers today, for the most part, are actors pretending to be wrestlers. Nobody puts a hold on. Nobody has what we used to call wrestling psychology anymore, where they work a leg or work on pinning your opponent. There's no strategy compared to what I learned in wrestling, where you tell a story and try to make things as believable as you can." Here's where it starts.
It's funny because that's exactly what, however you feel about it, that's what Gunther and Punk tried to do at SummerSlam.
Yeah, pretty much. Here's where he gets a bit juicy. The real art form is to never injure anybody. Two wrestlers go in there, tell their story, and come back. I think it's still the case today. The first thing that they do when they come back to the dressing room is they hug and they shake hands and they look at each other and go, "I'm okay, nothing hurt, I didn't break my neck or anything. You didn't knock all my teeth out." I mean, you probably know about that, to be fair. You're just happy to go out there and give this performance. The real art is to not hurt anyone. Unfortunately, Bill Goldberg never got that memo.
It's like a tick at this point, isn't it? Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, Goldberg. Anything. I'd love to know his specific trigger points. But yeah, look, Goldberg effectively ended Bret's career. So he is absolutely entitled to his stance. Also, like, to be fair, right, Goldberg has expressed, sadness at how this happened. He didn't do it on purpose. He's just a big, clumsy dude.
Goldberg's trying to build bridges and Bret Hart's just blowing him up.
Yeah. So there you go, Bret Hart, man. One of the all-time great talkers.
I've got to say, with regards to Bret, that's kind of lazy shooting, to be honest. There's the rule of three, of course, in comedy. So fair enough, you can go after WWE for them obviously being weird for you at SummerSlam, as I assume some sort of penance for rolling your eyes at WrestleMania for get a load of this guy for Triple H. Gunther, okay, like you say, we disagree with you, but fair enough.
Yeah.
Third one needs to be something. Come on, something new, something fresh. Can't just go back to the Goldberg. Well, I mean, you can. It's always funny. But I thought we could help him here because it's funny. I've got a lot to say about this. We've got a ball over there with some WWE names in, and we have AEW names in. So Bret, for next week, we're going to give you a new name to shoot on. That's not really worked, has it?
It's not how it's supposed to be, but it'll do, right?
So do you want to pick an WWE name?
I'll just
pick an AEW one.
Shout outs to the person I'm about to pick. You're probably really good, and you probably don't deserve to get buried by the Hitman.
Yeah.
Right.
So Bret, your choice is either
if I can open it, Carmella.
Oh, poor Carmella.
What would he do? What would he say? Like moonwalking?
Moonwalking. Stop dancing.
That's killing the business with your moonwalks.
Not that
Carmella, that sucks.
Not that one. Pick a different name. It's either Carmella or Paul Kip Sabian. Sorry,
Kip
man.
Sabian.
Take that toothpick out of your mouth.
Poor Kip Sabian. He's like the most loyal AEW guy ever. He's there through the pandemic. He works
Put a box on his head.
Yeah, he put a box on his head.
Or bag on his head or whatever it was. No, it was a box.
Poor Kip Sabian, man.
So sorry to Carmella and Kip Sabian. You're getting it next week from Bret Hart.
Bret Hart's coming for you. I love Bret Hart.
He's the best, isn't he?
I think I agree with him about 50% of the time.
The older I get, the grumpier I get, and the more I see things from Bret Hart's perspective.
Yeah, this is it. It's by next year it'll be 60, 70, 80.
Yeah.
I obviously don't think that Gunther is a lazy wrestler. No. But Bret has, to contextualise, Bret has always hated hard chops.
Yes.
He has always hated them, and they're a big part of Gunther's arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair to Gunther, it's not like he has a long history of injuring people's necks and stuff, right? He just busts your chest up a little bit. It's a bit less serious. But yeah, look, I love him. He doesn't have a filter. He could on my favorite wrestlers of all time, he could cut a promo on Ishii and Eddie Kingston and Roddy Piper tomorrow, and I would love every second because it's Bret and he doesn't give a damn.
He's a great person to listen to. He's obviously a phenomenal wrestling mind for all the time he spent in this business. But you know, like some wrestlers, when they finish up in the business, they think, I'm going to start a podcast. Yeah. Not as easy as it looks.
Yeah.
There's some good podcasts out there, WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from. But a lot of them start with a sort of central topic, and then after a few weeks, it's like, can I run out of the juicy stuff to do there? You know, we've covered like, I don't know, Bash at the Beach or whatever it may be, and now we're like, anything else? Do you want to talk about what's going on in wrestling right now? Bret should just do every week, one podcast a week, one wrestler's getting it for like 40 minutes, no matter who they are, because you're never going to run out of wrestlers, are you?
No, this is it. There's infinite. You can go all the way. You can go all the way back in history, right? You could sit here and cut a shoot promo on Triple H tomorrow, and then the next day you could talk crap about George Hackenschmidt.
Do you know what I thought you were going to say? I thought we were going to be on a. We were very close there. I was going to say George the Animal Steel. He's getting it.
Hairy man, what's he doing?
Everyone can get it in 2025 from Bret Hart. I love it.
Shout out to all the Hairies, by the way.
Indeed.
Anyway.
Right, let's talk the latest on this Karrion Kross situation. It is a daily occurrence of this sort of thing, but this is a major update with regards to Karrion Kross appearing on Ariel Helwani's show to talk everything surrounding his WWE. I'm going to do this right now. Departure.
Yep.
Because as you pointed out, he's Karrion Kross. That's not his name.
Yeah.
That's his WWE name. But anyway, he was on Ariel Helwani talking all about the contract shenanigans with WWE. Some really interesting tidbits from there. Well worth checking out the whole thing. But he claimed, he didn't receive a WWE extension offer until last Tuesday. Just to point out, his contract expired, I believe, on Sunday.
Yeah.
So very, very close, like 5-6 days away from his contract expiring. He only got a contract offer on the Tuesday before that. He asked how the company came to the valuation of the offer and was not given that information. So presumably he just thinks they went, think of a number. He had 24 hours, he was told, to agree to the offer or it would be rescinded. And Kross said he couldn't, sign on the dotted line, make the decision without knowing the information about the valuation side of things. Therefore, the offer was rescinded. Also, he said that they did not make an offer to Scarlett, of course, who's kind of part of the whole Karrion Kross presentation. Yeah. When he asked WWE about her, he was told, after we deal with you, we'll deal with her.
Like they're going to beat them up.
So he is allegedly, at least, a free agent right now. Yeah. He said big promotions have reached out to him since Sunday, but AEW hasn't. But he's not surprised because people think his WWE exit is a work.
Yeah.
He also talks a little bit about how the R-Truth stuff and the Seth stuff has made the whole work business even more complicated. Yeah. And has some interesting things to say about his final match being with Sami at SummerSlam, of course. But he says he doesn't have a timeline on making a decision for his future. He's never felt this supported in all directions of his life. Obviously, there's been a great reaction to him. There's that We Want Kross hashtags. There were some signs that were allegedly confiscated on Raw. That documentary's done ridiculous numbers. There's no sense of urgency to commit to anything that is not right for him currently. He would prefer to go back to WWE with Scarlett by his side.
Yeah, so again, the first thing you ask is this real?
Yes, is this real life?
Yeah. So one thing, I did think it was interesting that he was using his WWE name because it would be Killer Kross, right?
Yes.
He has just been confirmed for a convention under the name Killer Kross. So, and also there is precedent. Like recently, a bunch of copyrighted names that WWE own have gone and used Indy Hartwell and people but then Indy used that name before she was in WWE.
Yeah, good point.
So it's or is that might even be her real name? I'm not sure. So maybe I'm just being a moron here. But yeah, I don't know what to make of this, right? If this is legit and he has actually been I think that pulling the contract offer and not giving information on how you're out, that's a bit dodge.
Yeah.
Also saying we'll deal with her after we deal with you. That's
package deal, innit?
That's his partner, for goodness sake. I'd be get stuffed if you said something like that. I would also say...
they can kind of strong arm her. If he signs a deal, they can be like, what about £2?
Yeah, exactly. We'll give you 50 pence and a new goldfish to re-sign. If it's a work, though, I don't see the benefit of this, really. You might get a couple of weeks, but look at R-Truth. He came back.
Yeah.
There was a big clamour to get him back. He was really over for about 2 weeks, and everyone forgot about him. Granted, WWE has just booked him in his old role now, but I think that's exactly what would happen here with Mr. Kross. I think that people would just give up after a couple of weeks, the poor guy.
Yeah, you might stand slightly more of a chance being more of a Triple H guy, I think it's fair to say. But like you say, yeah... Unless this has been a huge plan and this is some weird twists and turns they want to take in it, it does seem that when I see these sort of things happen in WWE, the Cody Rhodes WrestleMania stuff aside, which was kind of a big thing, WWE are not really open to huge pivots for certain personnel. But, there's also a bit of me that, I was aware of, the F1 Drive to Survive stuff, and it felt like some... dramatic events were slightly more formulated to make things interesting.
A lot of them.
Whether or not this is part of some sort of Unreal Season 2 story, I don't know. But like you say, I'm a big fan of Karrion Kross. I hope he does re-sign with WWE or just ends up somewhere where he can really, express himself and showcase his talents.
For sure.
Having said that, I still, as much as I like him, don't see him becoming a world champion in 2025.
Yeah.
So, like you say, you could have just had him re-sign and then said, oh, well, Sammy, you might have got the better of me, but I tell you what, that US title looks pretty tasty on Solo or whoever. Yeah, it's some sort of mid-card title, I think is the best he's going to get, to be honest.
Yeah, and I like the guy too. I think he's very charming, he's very charismatic. I could listen to him talk stuff all day. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird environment. I don't think if it is legit and he's moving on, right? I don't think AEW is a good fit for him. No. Because his style is just completely different in the ring, and sometimes that's good, but I don't see that meshing particularly well. TNA is obviously on the table, but he's had, obviously him and Scarlett have had issues with that company in the past. We're not privy to all the information there. Japan, Mexico, all these places exist, obviously, the indies in the US. But yeah, I don't know. I think at the moment, it seems to me, unless you're Karrion Kross and you're getting a big fat deal out of this, and good for him if he does, and Scarlett, unless you're him, it seems like a bit of a catch-22, because I just don't think that if he does come back, it's going to last longer than a couple of weeks, because it didn't with Ron Killings.
And it's kind of hot on the heels of so many other different... I mean, the Truth one wasn't at work, let's be perfectly honest about this.
He rejected Triple H's phone call.
Yeah.
Nick Khan, get me Nick Khan.
What a move. But yeah, immediately in the aftermath of Seth isn't actually injured, it does feel strange turn of events, but we'll keep you updated on any developments as and when we get them.
Absolutely. Right, let's move on to our next story. Let's talk about someone who is a free agent, Shayna Baszler. She is open for AEW talks. In fact, they may have already taken place. So she was on Ariel Helwani's show as well. So obviously her release is a work too. She's on Ariel Helwani's show. But yeah, she's spoken about the prospect of going to AEW. She was released by WWE in May. She's been backstage in NXT doing agenting as a free agent or whatever, on a freelance basis. But she isn't re-signed. Let's see what she had to say. It's not a secret, I'm really good friends with Marina Shafir. I have a lot of good friends there. So there's been some discussion as to what the future could hold, for sure. Obviously, Marina Shafir, Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, Jessamine Duke, the four horsewomen of MMA. The match we never got.
Yeah, what a time that was.
Yeah, absolutely. Shayna and Marina are the only ones who are still active in wrestling. And even then, Marina doesn't wrestle that often. She's more of a...
Kick-ass.
She rules. I think she's great. Sorry, I spat all over you there.
Sorry.
Apologies. We've shared worse things, I'm sure. What does that mean? But she was directly asked if she'd like to sign with AEW, and she said this. I said almost exactly this statement when people were talking about my UFC to WWE transition. I don't care much of the letters behind it. I just want to practice my craft. And if I can do that alongside my friends, that's always a great place to be. So I'm not going to say a hard no to any of that. What do you think of Shayna Baszler?
You know my love for Shayna Baszler. She's one of the biggest what-ifs in recent memory for me. Like, I might have mentioned on quite a few occasions my adoration for that Elimination Chamber story where she just ran through everyone. I was like, great. Cool, she's punched a ticket, she's got a WrestleMania, she's going to win the world title. They're doing the sort of Rocky 3, John Moxley and CM Punk storyline of like, Becky Lynch got too big for her boots and hasn't realised that some people are coming around now just wanting to murder people, not bothered about any of the outside noise, and then she lost. Yeah. And then Becky left the title behind anyway because she was pregnant, which is great news for her. But yeah, I felt that was a real fumble, and there's always been so many stop-starts with her. She's held like tag titles and stuff, obviously, but I always thought that she should have had more on the main roster for WWE. And I think AEW, is the natural progression of that. I think she's a phenomenally talented individual. The Marina stuff doesn't half help as well.
Yep.
I mean, I'd like to see her do, singles world title stuff, Shayna Baszler in AEW, but my God, that is the most terrifying women's tag team of all time, isn't it?
Scary people, and legit badasses as well. Shayna Baszler, an early pioneer of women's MMA, and maybe got to the UFC at the point where her MMA career wasn't quite peaking. But she transitions into wrestling. I was enjoying Shayna Baszler on the US Indies and in Stardom before she signed with WWE. When she signed with WWE, I was like, great, Shayna rules. This is great. NXT run was awesome. Loved the women's title reign. Loved the matches with Kairi. Loved the title changeover with Rhea Ripley.
Amazing stuff.
Main roster run hasn't quite panned out the same way. Highlights definitely Elimination Chamber, but some good matches you can point to along the way. But look, I think Shayna Baszler rocks. She's one of the first people, along with Dakota Kai. If I'm Tony Khan and these names are becoming available, and they are available now because the non-competes have expired. 2 first names I'm phoning.
I agree.
I'm like, you're great. Look, honestly, a lot of people won't like this because they don't like the Death Riders still, even though I think that's stubborn and they've gotten really good. I would put her in the Death Riders with Marina.
Take over.
Yeah. I'd have her like bully Wheeler Yuta and stuff. Honestly, I think that would be sick.
Mox is like, I've got bored of bullying you, Wheeler Yuta, but I know someone who isn't bored.
She's a queen. Queen of Spades, baby. I love Shayna Baszler. I think she'd be a great addition to any company. So,
didn't someone get in real trouble on WWE because they accidentally called her the Queen of Hearts, and then that's not a name.
I'm not the Queen of Hearts. I play Warhammer and listen to Bolt Thrower. Don't call me the Queen of Hearts. Shayna rules, man. She's into all kinds of cool stuff.
And I'm sure she's by the sounds of it as well, from what I see on social media, she's having a great time doing this, like you say, this sort of freelance stuff. A great wrestling mind again, but I hope to see her back in the wrestling ring very soon.
Yeah, and hopefully that leads to Josh Barnett coming back too, because I love the grumpy shooter genre of wrestler. It's my favourite thing.
But speaking of AEW and Tony Khan, he has hit back at what he perceives to be the biggest misconception about AEW in a recent interview. He was on the Z100 New York Superstar crossover on Wednesday, ahead of Dynamite this week, of course. Ups and downs with Simon Miller coming your way later on today on this channel, naturally. And he said, I think the stories in AEW have been as strong as ever. I think they've been fantastic this year. I've been taking a long time about some of the great stories in AEW. You just said how fantastic you thought some of the storytelling around Jon Moxley's World Championship reign has been. People even question that aspect of it, and I think it was proven right. Whether you love them or not, nobody can question there's a lot of storytelling in AEW. I think it's fantastic, and a lot of the fans who actually pay attention to it think it's great. There's people that would say there's a lack, and I don't agree with this. I think it's untrue of stories in AEW. I don't think that's true at all, and it's really not a misconception, but a falsehood that people spread.
Almost fell off my chair, not because of Tony.
It is one of those things where, like, you can't deny. You might not like them. It's all subjective, but you can't deny that they tell stories in AEW. I do think it's a really sort of lazy criticism of AEW, just like, what's the story?
Yeah, if quite frankly,
the permutate the finale of one. Like, I didn't like the Death Riders, as you mentioned earlier, but like that final crowning of like the redemption of Hangman Page and the getting that title away from the Death Riders. that's a story, and it was a really good one.
Yeah, this is it. This is the thing. Like, you might not like the stories, but to say there aren't any is ridiculous. It's completely insane.
People just turn up and have a match and then...
Yeah, like, these things don't exist in a vacuum. Yeah, AEW definitely has more of an in-ring focus than WWE, and that leads to like things like all-star tags, but usually these all-star tags have stories within them, whereby there's a reason these two teams and these two people are teaming together because they're feuding with the people on the other side, and that leads to new things. Look, there are flaws, absolutely. You don't have to like for example, recently, I'm not really into Cope and Christian, this reunion. I think it could have used a bit longer. I feel like they've rushed it a little bit. Could have done a few more months, but like, to say honest to goodness, at this stage, if you think there's no stories in AEW, we just probably we can't have a conversation.
Not for you, is it? Just don't watch it.
Yeah, exactly. To say there's no stories is ridiculous, and like I can't even debate that because it's just wrong. It's not true. Like, some of them don't work.
It's a bit like saying there's no goals in football. Well, yes, sometimes there's 0-0 draws, but a lot of the time people put the ball in the back of the onion bag.
Yeah, there you go. Right in the top onion, as they say in the business. It's a nonsense criticism. They're not all good stories, but they do exist.
Yes.
Come on, what are we doing here?
Look across the board on last night's Dynamite, there's stories.
Every single segment had at least one thing going on.
Yes.
It's like, come on, what are we doing here? What are we doing? I don't know.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts, though. I'd be fascinated to know if there's an actual legitimate argument. Like I say, you can say they don't tell stories well, or I don't like the stories they tell.
There you go.
But you can't just sit there and say, yes, a load of people turned up on last night's show and had a match. Well, they didn't. What?
Yeah.
What are you watching?
Like, these matches don't have any permutations. Like, something like John Moxley versus Kevin Knight isn't going to lead to something later on. Like, it doesn't build from the previous week's Mike Bailey match. Yeah. You know, it's just, it's so silly.
They hospitalised Will Ospreay, and then that was that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, he turned up last night and said, let's have a ridiculous steel cage match at Forbidden Dell.
Absolutely. Hey, look, sometimes things are a bit random.
Yeah.
They are, absolutely.
But also, there's the case, as I often sit here and say, of if you think, well, why's that happening? How about we let it play out for a few weeks? We can always go back and say it was crap. There's nothing stopping you saying that. But there is usually method to the madness.
Exactly. It's the brain rot era. Look, we all suffer from a degree of brain rot where our attention spans are really low. We've been destroyed by things like TikTok and Instagram Reels, where it's instant gratification. Sometimes you just need, like John Moxley walking down the street, taking a puff and passing it back on. Everyone knows the clip. You just need to chill out.
Yeah.
Relax.
But let us know your thoughts on everything discussed in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. While you're at it, why not check out this video right here? Andy, what do we got for him?
The algorithm is going to pick it for you.
Oh!
It's best for viewer. So, if this isn't the best for you, bring that up with algorithm.
Bye.
Bye.